Welcome to a new episode of the Insilico Terminal podcast. Today I have with me DeltaXBT, who many of you probably already know. But why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are for the people who don't know you yet?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny to do these introductions because I don't really know what to say. I'm Delta. I'm a part-time trader, full-time shit poster. I trade crypto and sometimes some other things, and yeah, just your friendly local shit poster on CT.
So how long have you been in crypto and in trading? What's like your origin story?
Well, I started in crypto back in 2016. Um, that's where I first seen charts and prices and actually put in some money to with the goal of making money. Like I did buy some Bitcoin back in like 2013, 2014, but I bought it for for transacting with it. And then 2016 was the first time where I was like, oh, this actually like has a whole thing to it, right? But I was just buying and bag holding. And then in 2017, I got mega wrecked on all the altcoins. And I basically just bag held a bunch of things up until like 2019. And then in 2019, 2020 is where I really started to get into it, started to trade with leverage and, with margin, and started to, I guess, consider it more professionally and actually like maintain a journal and follow up on my trades and like journal everything. So yeah, I guess you could say I'm in it really just for like 5 or 6 years.
2013 is like really early. How were you aware of Bitcoin back then?
I was just trying to buy some things online for video games, and the seller was just accepting Bitcoin, and so I just back then it was I think I used Coinbase, and I just opened the Coinbase account. And
But did that already exist back then? I didn't
yeah,
even
yeah, yeah.
know. That's
I have like they used to. I checked it like half a year ago, because there was like a trend on CT. Like a bunch of people were posting like the oldest crypto email they have. And I had this email from Coinbase saying like, "Welcome to Coinbase," and it's like back then they were giving you like, I don't know, like 1,000 sats for just
Oh,
logging
really?
in or something. Yeah.
That's crazy. So you're kind of like a real OG in that sense, or like
No, not
almost, I
really, because
guess.
again, I really got into it only like 6 years ago. It's not like I
Yeah.
remember the back in those days type thing.
What made you
Like I
like?
wasn't trading on Ether Delta and stuff like that.
What made you get into it more? Like, what really caught your interest? So, at what point were you really like, this is something that I want to invest more of my time in?
Um, well, I never really had this epiphany of like, oh my God, this is the future of finance. It's decentralized, no bankers, no money blockage and stuff like that. Like I don't know if it's because I'm Jewish or or I'm just good with my or if it's because I'm good with my documents, but I don't really get bank accounts frozen or whatever. So I never really had this issue of like I need to find a different financial solution to my expenses or like daily living or whatever. But back in the day when I first started investing, it was really just the allure of I first saw the bull market, right? So 2016, we had a crazy bull. We went from like 1K to 20. Um, and I think I've seen it the first time. The first time I bought some to invest, it was like 5K maybe. Um, and I won't forget, I was at the job and my boss came into the room and he was like, "Oh, dude, this Bitcoin thing is going crazy." And I'm like, "Oh, Bitcoin, I heard about it." And then he was just like heavily into it. We had this
Yeah.
BTCE website. I don't know if you remember it. It used to be like this shady Russian exchange. No KYC, no nothing. You just send money to this bank account. Wait, did they have a bank account? I don't remember. I don't remember if you could deposit there or not. But anyways, we used to trade on this website, and yeah, that I was just into it for the money because I saw the volatility. I was like, okay, that's it. That's interesting to me. I think I
Mm-hmm.
can make some money off of it. And yeah, that's it. Just the volatility is what attracted me, not like the any financial logic beyond that.
You're not in it for a tech, just for the money.
No, unfortunately.
So how did you get do you have like any sort of financial background or anything like that, or how did you learn how to trade?
No financial background. I my uncle is used to be a floor trader,
Mm-hmm.
and he used to be in this like he used to trade a lot of forex and commodities. So I knew what charts and stuff like that look like before I got into crypto. And I did trade some forex when I was really young, like when I was 18 years old, with his guidance and everything. I
Mm-hmm.
burned so many accounts just doing dumb shit. Um, so I had this little bit of background, but really nothing that I don't think that really helped me with crypto. I think I just, just jumped into the water. And again, over the years, after like 2 or 3 years of not really understanding what I'm doing, suddenly, I woke up one morning and I was like, okay, I kind of get it now.
Mm-hmm. And what was that like? Like, what kind of things did you try at the beginning that didn't really work out that well?
Dude, everything. I tried, trading spot, only Bitcoin and Ether, and then I moved to trading altcoins and then leverage and,
Mm-hmm.
doing stuff on chain, ICOs. Like, basically, it was just a trial and error period where I realized I don't really know much, so I'll just try everything.
Mm-hmm.
And back in 2019 and 2020, I feel like if you really wanted to focus and learn, about charting and stuff like that, you like, even on CT there wasn't that much of a space for that. CT was just talking about like levels, trades, and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
if you wanted to learn about technical analysis, you had to follow some forex accounts, right? Um, So, you just over time, you try a bunch of shit. You just, try to maintain a logical risk tolerance so that you'll be able to survive another day.
Mm-hmm.
And just over the time, you find what fits you and what doesn't. Like for example, nowadays, I know that altcoins are not my thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like every time I touch an altcoin, I lose money. It's like magic. So I stick to majors. I will trade like a basket of like 5 coins, like Bitcoin, Ether, Solana, Hype, XRP, like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just focus on this, just hyper focus on those things, and ignore everything else, which is really hard sometimes because you see suddenly people posting about I don't know, about Zcash and the hot coin of the day or of the month, and you kind of want to dip into it. But from my experience, I realized it's not working, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the key. I think like the best tip I give every single person who asks me like, hey, I wanna try get into trading, I just tell them like, dude, just fuck around and find out. But the key here is make sure you learn from it, right? Make sure you journal everything, you write everything down. It doesn't really have to be a mathematical journal of like, I entered at 0.172 and my target is like at 2.1. It doesn't have to be that. It can also be just, okay, today I like really like a diary, like dear diary, today I traded this and that. It didn't work out so well, didn't feel it. I'm not gonna do that again.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have this track record that you can, um, you know, check every once in a while, you can just um, build this set of rules of like, okay, a few times I did this, it didn't work. A few times I did that, and that worked really well. So how can I replicate that and
Mm-hmm.
keep doing this?
So on this day when you like woke up and thought like, hey, I kind of know what I'm doing, or like I have an idea of what I want to do, was that like you discovering that you only would rather trade like focus on a couple of coins instead of just like trading everything? Or what in particular made you feel like you're kind of at a point where you're like decent at what you're doing?
I think the first time I got that feeling was when I had a few days or weeks in a row where my levels worked, right? Where my levels gave me good setups and I just followed them without any hesitation or anything, and they worked. Even if the trade lost money, I saw that wherever I defined my risk and put my stop losses or whatever, that really was a good exit, and the market kept on tanking or whatever. So I think this was the first time that I felt like, okay, I'm kind of getting the hang of it, um, and yeah.
What is your trading like? If you can like describe your strategy a bit, like what do you look
Well, my,
for?
my
What
trading
time
is
frames?
very what?
Like what are you looking for to enter a trade? What time frames do you trade?
Yeah, so I trade only the higher time frames. I trade like the 4 hourly, daily, weekly, monthly.
Mm-hmm.
And my trading is very basic and very simple. I feel like one of my um I guess my edge is that I have the patience and I have the balls to go in with conviction when I actually get a good setup. So I can literally wait for weeks without taking any trade, which, some
Mm-hmm.
people might see it as a negative thing. And, it's like uh, Tom Dante saying, like, what are you doing not trading for a whole week? What are you, a hedge fund? So no, I'm not a hedge fund, but I just realized that, first of all, as the market keeps on getting older, and the crypto market, I do feel like it's transforming into being more similar to TradFi, where
Mm-hmm.
you don't really have that many crazy scalps every single day, right? And we see it with the volatility falling. We see it with more ranges and less just explosive moves. And this really fits me because I do have this patience. I do, I am able to keep myself busy with other things and just messing around with dexes or with on-chain stuff or just doing other things in life besides just watching the charts and
Mm-hmm.
watching paint dry. So just having that patience of waiting for that clear setup, and it's like that famous tweet of Magner saying a few times a year there's money on the floor, just pick it up.
Yeah.
So it's really just that I'm just trying to keep myself busy, not for the few times a year, but for the few times a month or 1 or 2 times a week that I actually get a clear setup that has a very, very easy way of understanding it, which I feel like most of the best, like I actually believe that every single trader, if they will look at their trading history, the simplest trades that they've taken, for example, oh, this just broke out and right now it's retesting support, I'll go in,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. The simplest setups usually have the best results. And from all the people that I've discussed this with, almost everyone agrees on it. And this is why I try to keep my setups as simple as possible. I don't use any indicators besides like RSI and volume. And I use one moving average. I have EMA 36,
Mm-hmm.
just for like trend upkeep. And that's it. I'll just try to keep it stupid simple. With me focusing on a few charts only, it kind of helps you with not losing sight and losing track of what's going on in the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you follow, like for example, I'm looking at BTC and ETH for the last couple of weeks, and it's super boring, right? Nothing is
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
And in the meanwhile, I'm looking at group chats and people are like euphoric and depressed and like, holy shit, look at that move. And then they send like the tree news like FC, some ticker I've never heard of, and there's a
Mm-hmm.
chart and it's like up 50%. And then Bitcoin just has a 1% down move like today, and everyone's like freaking out because their lungs are underwater.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the reasons I like focusing on just a few charts. It's really easy for you to kind of like, follow the flow that is happening and not just kind of like, lose track of it all. So yeah, just horizontal support and resistance,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes some vertical lines, and yeah, I just mainly wait for volatility, or just for some, clear signs of some TWAP and like lack of liquidations that I can maybe go into that expecting some volatile move happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's you know it's kind of funny because when people hear that you're trading crypto for like 6 years or something, like I've been trading full time for 5 years now. So
Mm-hmm.
people expect you to have like some crazy, like, crazy tactics and crazy setups and like crazy strategies. But as a lazy person in my nature, I try to have the simplest system I can that gives me, solid signals, maybe not so often, but solid enough for me to be able to go in with conviction
Mm-hmm.
and with big enough volume so that even though I take only like 5 trades a month, those trades can make me happy.
So you're mostly looking for like breakouts or trending moves?
No, it doesn't have to be, but it's just one of the things I like to take. It really depends on how it looks, right? It's not just about okay, resistance has been broken. This is a
Mm-hmm.
breakout. I'm taking it. It's not just this. It's also like how did this resistance how was this resistance broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which makes a huge difference for me. And I think this is a really big question that a lot of traders miss sometimes. It's not just about what happened; it's also about how it happened, which is super important, right? And it just helps you get a little bit more context about what this move means, and how you can potentially take advantage of it.
So what would you look like, for example, in the current Bitcoin range for you to like execute a trade?
Well, I the last trade I took is I shorted 94K
Mm-hmm.
because this was just a big resistance cluster on the monthly chart.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm already out of this trade because just the market is so slow. I wanted to see a little bit of a faster reaction.
Mm-hmm.
But at this moment, I don't really, I don't think anything exciting is gonna happen. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think because like 2025 was a pretty boring year if you actually look at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it was like it had big up moves and down moves, but overall, we've been just stuck in a range. So for me, the range is between 90 and 110K.
Mm-hmm.
We took the range high, we took the range low. Both of those have untapped liquidity. And I think that trying to take any significant trades right now is kind of like diddling the middle. So I'm just patiently waiting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing screams at me right now. And I feel like it just shows that, you just open CT and Bitcoin is up like 1.5%, and everyone's like, yeah, fuck the bears, we're gonna kill the bears. Or like Bitcoin is down like 2%, and the bears are like, oh yeah, the sailor is getting liquidated as we speak.
Yeah.
So it just shows you how bored everyone is, and how it's just nothing is happening. And thankfully, I'm just playing Arc Raiders most of the day, almost every single day.
What I find the funniest about it is just like if you look back, or if you like, I'm on CT like every single day. Like it's a huge part of my life just to like scroll Twitter, and just like seeing the narratives that people like come up with all the time, and then like why this is gonna happen, why that is gonna happen, and we're gonna do this and break out here and do that and whatever. And you're just seeing like if you look back at it, like if you like observe it through a certain amount of time, you just realize like none of this actually makes any sense, and price is just like ranging, and we're just like trying to grasp on fairy tales or whatever, just so anything can like happen and we can make money again, or whatever. But it's just like ranging, which is what the market does most of the time.
Yeah, which it comes back to the fact that I feel like people are just chasing these moves, right? Like people see what they want to see, right? People want to see volatility so that they can, make enough money to pay their tax bill or whatever.
Hmm.
But I feel like for some reason, it's almost like taboo to admit on CT that, yeah, I'm not in a trade, right? Like for example, I have this group chat I'm in, and like someone asked me if I'm long, and I'm like, no, I'm not long.
Hmm.
And then there was a discussion about the next support, and I mentioned that I think the next support we have is at 84K. And then someone's like, oh, Delta is bearish. I'm like, dude, I'm not bearish. I'm not short anymore. Like I closed my
Yeah.
short. And then today, this morning, I woke up, price was at like 91, and then I blinked and it fell to like 89.
Hmm.
And then someone was like, we need to kill the bears, and tagged me. And I'm like, dude, I'm not long, I'm not short, I'm not doing anything. And I feel like it's almost like taboo to admit that I currently have no, like, I look at this chart and it's not appetizing to me,
Hmm.
right? And I feel like I'm not gonna say that this is something amazingly good, or it's not gonna help you become a better trader or something like that, but it will definitely help a lot of people save a bunch of money when they're just trading out of pure boredom and everything. And I wrote an article about it, which is like, it's called The Art of Patience. It's on
Hmm.
my profile, and it's talking about how, well, it's basically just me writing to myself, where I remember that someday I was just for like 2 months churning money and losing on fees, and the trades weren't that amazing. And even if I did end the month in a profit, it was just such a small profit that I was asking myself, was it actually worth it? And I
Hmm.
started thinking about it, and I realized, okay, the reason I'm trying to push trades is because if you are a full-time trader, right, in crypto specifically, it's very, very easy to fall to this trap where the market is just boring. There are no setups, and these type of periods will come. And then you just, sit in front of a chart all day long. You watch YouTube videos and burn time, shit post on Twitter, and the day ends, and you've got nothing to show for it. But that's okay, right? That's natural. But psychologically, your brain is starting to play tricks on you, calling you lazy. It's like, oh my God, I haven't done anything all day. Oh my God, I had 0 setups this week, and like, and whatever. Now, from this path, there's 2 ways to handle it. I feel like it's one way is just, asking yourself, am I the type of person that can have the patience of waiting a whole week to wait for the good setup that I want to see, and then
Hmm.
go in, balls in, and go, with size, take it properly, not pussing out? Or are you the trader that just cannot wait this long? You cannot. You need to trade every single day. You need to show something for it. You need to, you know, take advantage of the micro volatility, whatever. Then it's a whole different question of how can I generate more signals every single day.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, I just realized that for me, it's totally fine if I see no setups, and if I'm just gonna wait for a week until I actually see a setup that I want to take.
At what point did you like quit your job to become a full-time trader, and what made you like confident in that decision?
I well, quitting my job was never had anything to do with crypto itself, nor
Hmm.
nor with money. I used to have a big company that dealt with marketing, and I sold that company,
Hmm.
and then I stayed there as sort of like an advisor, or like manager, you could say. And that was back in 2021. And then after like 2 months, I realized it's just boring. I'm not enjoying it, and I'd rather do something else.
Hmm.
And crypto, like trading, has started going a little bit better for me. I started to actually make some, solid money on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, whatever. And I was like, okay, I'll just go and focus on that. So
Hmm.
my situation was a little bit different because I had money without the trading success anyways, right? Because I got lucky with like a good business, but basically, I feel like it's just something. I wanted something new to excite me. Is why I made this decision. And yeah, I just picked up everything, left, and that was really funny because I I quit in May. I quit in April 21. And then a month later, we had one of the, like, besides COVID crash, we had arguably one of the worst crashes in crypto history. That over like a week, Bitcoin went from 60K to 30K, and I was down so bad. I lost so much money on that. I was leveraged to the tits, and I was watching the liquidation price like a few $100s away from I'm watching the price like a few $100s away from my liquidation price. And then I found myself like down 90% on my net worth, without a job, without anything. And I was like, holy fucking shit. But if I wouldn't have, the money from the company sale or whatever, I would probably just still quit because, I had, I would probably have saved enough money from work for like a year and to just go for it. I feel like these challenges are really fun. Both like, it's mentally stimulating to have a new challenge like that.
But how did you deal with losing 90% of your net worth while not having like any other income?
That must have been very like challenging. It was hard. It was mentally really, really hard. I mentioned it a few times on my podcast as well. It was it was to this day the worst time of my life. Because I was just shocked. I never thought this was possible to me because I had a few big losses in the past, and I was like, okay, that's it. I got this under control. But then it was the first real big crash that I've experienced as a trader, because I wasn't really trading in the COVID crash. And we didn't really have anything super big and prolonged and relatively aggressive as that. And I never thought that, we had a 15% crash. I was like, okay, I'll long, then it dropped another 15%. I was like, okay, there's no way this goes any lower. And then at the end of it, I remember we had the first bounce. We hit like 29K. I was like a few $100s from being liquidated for almost everything.
Oh, wow.
Besides like my car and my house. And then the price bounced the next, like the same or the next day to like 40K. I closed everything. I just closed all my trades and realized I need to like take care of myself mentally to reset. Because I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I feel like when you have such a crazy big loss, it fucks you physically as well, not just mentally. So, I stopped trading completely. And just for a month, I didn't even look at the market. I was checking it like maybe once a day just to see what's going on. But I didn't touch anything. I didn't do anything. I just focused on like recovering mentally, and then I came back in August. I feel like I came back in August and started trading again, and I was just so in the zone, and I was just doing so well in the markets. It's funny because it really went from one of the worst periods I've had as a trader, like trading wise, to one of the best to this day periods I've had, because I was down over 90% on my net worth. And then by the end of August, I was already on top of that.
Really?
Like I already made back almost, I'm pretty sure I made back everything, if not almost everything. And then it was just fantastic. and then I just kept on trading, and everything went well since then. And I think that it just shows that if you really give yourself the time to kind of like reset and recover, it's it's just magical, like how well you can just come back and get back to yourself. So I'm really happy that I did that, and I'm really happy that it happened, because I really believe that it would have happened to me sooner or later. Like this arrogance of like, how bad can it get? It's not gonna happen to me. Like,
Yeah.
it gets everyone, and I really do think that I wouldn't be where I am today without that crazy period, and the thoughts of jumping out of the window and instead of starting everything all over again. So yeah.
Did it make you like adjust your risk management strategy to like prevent that from happening again?
Oh yeah. 100%. 100%. My whole my whole risk system today is very heavily based on what happened then. And the biggest factor is I could lose it all tomorrow, right? Like it's funny how sometimes you see those tweets where people say like, you're 7 button clicks away from making $1 million, right?
Yeah.
But you're probably 3 button clicks away from losing everything.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic, and and maybe it's because, again, I'm Jewish, so I'm very, very skeptic. Skepticism is very big with the Jewish people.
Yeah.
So I'm really careful nowadays. There's no way like I will ever be caught like that again.
You're not really like using leverage or anything like that anymore, right? I think I've seen
Well, I
talk
do.
about that.
I do use leverage. Just I use it as it's originally intended to be used. I basically don't keep so much money on exchanges, and I just leverage up to be able to have full exposure of whatever trade I want to take.
Yeah.
And if I do take a leverage trade, which I sometimes do, it'll be very low leverage. It'll be like 2x, But the thing is, when I'm talking 2x, it's gonna be like 2x where the net long weight of my whole crypto portfolio is like 1.8 or 2x. So I don't use so it might show on the P&L cards or whatever like 100x, but I don't look at it. I look at the numbers, right? I look at the notional value. Like I know let's say my crypto portfolio is 100k, so I'll take a trade for 200k, that kind of thing. I just don't think that there's a reason to take that much leverage, right? I think there's very, very, very few reasons to take a trade with over 3x leverage, especially if it's with size. Especially with my type of trading, which is relatively long-term trading, where I'll easily hold a trade for a month or two if it's going my way. If I see good signs that everything is still healthy, the trend is still intact. Just because price is up, I'm not gonna close the trade. If everything looks still good, I'm just gonna let it run. And if you trade like that, there's no reason to take anything huge. That's just greed. The greed monster is trying to fuck you.
I'm interested in like how you cultivated your patience, or how you would advise other people to learn from that, because I definitely can relate to this feeling of being like kind of addicted to productivity and like doing things. And also like I probably like look at too many charts every single day of like too many different tickers. So I'm like, it makes a lot of sense what you said, that you like just look at a couple, like on 5 different ones that you focus on. But how do you deal with like the feelings of FOMO when you like look into the group chats, and like this periods of doing nothing when you're like waiting for higher time frame trades and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. It's very hard. I feel like it's one of the hardest parts in the way I do this job. But there's 2 keys to it. number one is the realization of that it's okay, right? That it's normal. Like sometimes you won't see a trade because you don't trade like others do. And like one of the reasons people feel this is you open Twitter and everyone's posting like trades and P&L cards and holy shit, look at this move, look at that move. But you need to realize and internalize that you don't trade like they do, right? They trade something else. They have a totally different system. Most of those people don't even know what price BTC is at, right? They don't look at those charts. They look at fucking Shiba Inu 17. And you know, so you have to remember that we're all playing the same game, but we're playing it in a very different meta, right? All of us chose a different meta, a different path. And you know, like how in most MMORPGs, yeah, you choose a class in the beginning or whatever. So you took your own class. And that's fine. That's number one. And I feel like number two is you have to keep yourself busy with other things. You know, play video games, learn something new. You know, always try to just keep your mind busy with something else. Because again, your brain just does what it does. Your brain is programmed to keep you busy and curious and everything. So obviously, if you just look at the chart and there is no setup, but you still look at charts because you don't want to do anything else, your brain will start seeing setups, right? You will start fantasizing, okay, maybe this will work. And you will start being, you know, you'll be tempted to maybe look at other charts of assets you don't normally trade, even though you know you shouldn't trade them, but you're like, well, Bitcoin hasn't moved for like 2 weeks. Fuck it, I'll trade some Zcash. And then Zcash fucking quits. All the developers quit, and you get wrecked. So, you know, I tried to just. So first of all, I like accepted the fact I'm not a trencher, right? I'm not a trencher. I'm not a scalper. That's not me. I take swing trades, whether if it's like intra-week, intra-month, intra-year, whatever. I take the bigger picture setups, and I'm fine with not doing what everyone else around me does. And it is hard sometimes, right? It sucks sometimes to open, Twitter and everyone has this huge airdrop from some decks you've never heard of. And it's like, oh shit, I didn't farm that. But that's okay. You know, sometimes you'll open it and there's a meme coin that is up like 10,000% overnight. Millennia launched something and you're like, holy shit, I don't even have money on Solana to even try to trade that thing. But that's okay. So first of all, I accepted that. Second of all is just keep yourself busy. You know, I play a lot of video games. I have my Sony play, like I play on the PlayStation because I really try to separate my computer from, like, I work on the computer and I play on the PlayStation, right? So luckily, our creators came out just as Bitcoin was bottoming and forming this range. So I'm playing a lot of our creators with friends, and sometimes I'll play, other games. I try to read a lot. I try to, study courses and stuff like that, which again, I mainly just do to pass time. I don't think they will do me any good. Like I'm learning, like right now I'm taking this small course about coding, and I'm trying to learn how to code not without using cloud and all of that. And I'm not doing this because I want to build something. I'm just doing this because I told myself one day it'll be nice if I can read code, just read and roughly understand what's going on. So yeah, just keep yourself busy and remember that, I feel like in crypto, one of the main reasons we choose to be self-employed and we don't work for a prop desk or some financial company or a regular job. One of the biggest reasons most of us do it is it gives us freedom, right? You can get up and do whatever you want. You can, go for a walk with the dogs for a couple of hours. You can go and take a hike. You can go on a vacation. You can go and visit your parents for a couple of days. And you couldn't have done that without, working for yourself. And I feel like in crypto, a lot of people forget to do just that. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
forget to use this benefit. Like, you know, uh, if the market is boring and you're bored and you see no setup and you feel yourself kind of like, not staying your way, just get up and go take a vacation. Fly to Thailand, fuck lady boys, or fly to fucking, I don't know, the America and watch the Grand Canyon and cry. I don't know, like just go and do something, because
Yeah.
now is the time. This is the time you want to this is the time you want to watch away from the screen until things get
Mm-hmm.
interesting again. This was the holiday season. We just had a huge nuke. And I tweeted the moment like we entered into December and it was still boring. I tweeted like, I think it's going to be very, very, like, I think it's going to be really boring for a while now.
Yeah.
Because we're getting into the holidays. Bitcoin just fucking nuked. It's a new year. People are busy with their taxes and stuff like that. So, and it is happening. So I'm trying to, I'm going on walks. I try to get to level 75 on arc raiders. And yeah, just keep yourself busy. There's more to life than watching charts, and I feel like it's
Mm-hmm.
a very big part of the job. It is a part of the job, just keeping yourself busy. Like sometimes my girlfriend will walk into the house and see me playing the PlayStation. She'll be like, I thought you're working. And I'm like, I am working. It's a part of my job. The market is boring. So, I'm doing a game, checking the Twitter. I'm going back to the game. It's a part of my
Yeah.
job.
You mentioned that you like studied a bit of coding. Have you ever thought of automating any of your strategies?
No. I did think of automating the execution, but nowadays it's pointless, because with tools like Insilico Terminal, for example, where you have multiple accounts and you can execute on all of them at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
you don't really need to build something on your own. But I wouldn't want to build something because like my system is so simple and it has a lot of discretionary aspects to it. I could probably code something, but I don't see a reason. It's not. I take so very few setups that if I automate that, I'm just gonna be bored out of my mind.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like execution with a tool like Insilico is still very important for you with like the little amount of setups that you take?
Well, yeah. It's first of all, it saves you on fees. It saves on, it can help you save money on fees. It can help you save time. It's just a comfort thing, right? So I still use it because it's very comfortable. I don't need to log into accounts every single day and stuff like that. I can just
Mm-hmm.
manage everything from a dashboard of a terminal, um, and yeah, it's just a matter of comfort. I do remember. Now look, I love Insilico Terminal, right? But and you will pay me in Bitcoin after that, right?
Of course, of course.
So I do love the terminal, but I don't agree. Like I remember seeing Flood tweeting about like if you don't use a terminal, you're like a poor loser and you're not gonna make it. He's a very lovely person. So I don't agree with that. I feel like you
Mm-hmm.
can be totally fine without using a terminal. It's just a matter of comfort, right? Like some people will go crazy using an exchange UI, but some
Mm-hmm.
people love it. Some people got so used to it that they will execute on this exchange UI faster than you will on a terminal, right? So it's just a matter of comfort and what you like. I like having, all of my exchanges connected via API to one place, and I don't need to log out, log in, authenticator, and all of those things. So that's the comfort side of it.
Of course, I completely disagree, and you have to use the terminal forever
Yeah.
if you like listen to any of my
Or you're gonna
podcasts
be
or read
poor
anything.
forever.
But you're also like a white mode psychopath, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe that's why your opinion is like worth a little less in this regard as well.
I don't get it, dude. It's so funny. I love white mode. I love it.
Do
Every time
you?
I use dark mode, I cannot see shit. I remember I
That's
used this.
crazy.
I'm like I use this Dex. Let me check if.
I don't
So,
think
anyways,
I've ever looked at the terminal in light mode, to be honest.
so yeah, it's still like that. There's a Dex that I tested and like played around with, and the only feedback they were on a call with me and they're like, "Oh yeah, do you have any feedback?" I'm like,
Hmm.
"Why is there only dark mode? Like I can't see shit." Because I live on an island, right? I live on
Yeah.
an island with a very tropical kind of weather. So there's always sunshine and there's a
Hmm.
lot of sun. And my office sits like my desk sits right next to a very big window. So there's a lot of like there's a huge light source here, right?
Hmm.
There's a lot of light in my room, and I literally cannot read the text on this fucking exchange because it's too dark. Because the text is gray and the background is black.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I literally cannot use your exchange.
That's crazy.
I'm over 30 years old. There's a lot of light in here. I can't see shit. Um, but no, I use the automatic thing where
Hmm.
after sundown, my computer changes
I see.
to
Yeah.
dark mode. That makes sense. But fucking dark mode all day long, you're fucking crazy.
Maybe I am. Maybe I am. I use everything in dark mode. I can't really stand like too much light on my precious screen. But to each their own. That's why we have like different
How
settings.
very German of you.
I'm wondering, have you ever thought about like trading other markets, like stocks or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah. I do trade. I do try to over time shift more volume towards TradFi market.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like it's so different from crypto. It's very different, totally different. Like the same systems and the same stuff I look for in crypto just don't always work as well in TradFi.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I'm slowly going over there just because I am trying to kind of like expand my horizons, if you want to call it that way. Because I do, after last year, realize that our market will get slower and slower over time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fact. It's growing. There's more participants in it, a lot of institutional participants, and I do feel like over time, crypto will trade like more traditional stuff. So just having a wider basket of things you can watch, which again, on TradFi, I'll tell you what I'm watching. I'm watching ES, NQ,
Mm-hmm.
gold, silver, oil, and euro dollar. So just like six things, and that's all I care about. So yeah, slowly.
What are those differences and how do you deal with them?
Well, first of all, we have the trading hours, which kind of took me a while to get used to.
Yeah.
Um, suddenly the market is closed and it's open, and suddenly there's more structure to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which we're not really used to. Um, and the differences are that it kind of like just it behaves differently. Like I'm watching the chart, you can see that it's a very different type of participants are in it. I don't know if it makes sense, but I just watch the chart like basically on ES and NQ. Those are the only two charts I'll go down to the like 15-minute time frame,
Mm-hmm.
and it sometimes it feels very different. Like it's much more correlated to like world events and Fed speak and all those jumbo mumbo jumbo numbers that they're releasing. Thank God Bitcoin is not that sensitive to them anymore. Do you remember
Mm-hmm.
how everyone on CT was waiting for fucking unemployment numbers?
Yeah, or like every single CPI and stuff.
Yeah, dude,
And
it's the
yeah.
fucking worst. Um, so I feel like with TradFi, you just need to be a little bit more, because like TradFi has something backing it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's real. There's a real company behind it. They have real numbers. There's real people working for those companies, and
Yeah.
it's a numbers game. They make money. They lost money. The board of directors made this decision or that decision. So you do need to be a little bit more, connected to everything that's going on. Like I feel like with Bitcoin, it is obviously also connected to like the real world events and everything, but not as much as TradFi. So I feel like this is the biggest difference. You just need to be very, very connected to, oh, did we have a numbers release? What are the numbers like? Oh, we have Fed speak today. We have did Nvidia make some new announcements because they're like fucking 30% of the S&P 500?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you're still looking at like lower time frames, even though you're only like trading on higher ones?
Yeah, I look at low time frames, just the 15 minutes sometimes, just to kind of like, if I want to see a specific move a little bit more in detail. And that's the only reason I'll go down there. I'm not really trying to, watch the 15-minute. But for example, if we're coming close to a specific level I have on the 4-hourly chart or the daily chart, I'll go down the timeframes to kind of like see, how it's reacting, how it's moving, how do the candles look like, and stuff like that.
Do you worry about edge erosion in the future, like that your strategy won't be as profitable anymore?
No, not really. It's not because I think I will not have edge erosion. I don't even know what my trading strategy or my trading style is. If I would even be able to say I have some kind of a crazy edge, which again I think is fine as long as you make money over a long period of time. But I do realize that someday I'm gonna look at charts and interpret them and take trades, and they're probably not gonna be going as I want them to. Which, I feel like maybe it's inevitable. But I do try to adapt. I do try to take other things into consideration, like I don't know, like for example, this year I started, one of the reasons I wanted to look more at TradFi is because I realized crypto and TradFi are a little bit more intertwined nowadays. So, that's one of the reasons. And I do feel like that might help me make decisions on trades on Bitcoin or Ether a little bit better. And, it's kind of like, why worry about something that is not here yet. I do know I'm trying my best to still be relevant with like my ideas and stuff like that in terms of trading. So I know I am putting the efforts to kind of like still stay in the game, right? So I think it's not something you need to worry about, because if you are trying and you are showing up every day and you are taking trades and drawing on charts and stuff like that, if it happens, it happens. Like you are trying your best, and that's all that matters.
I feel like you've posted a bit less about your own trading lately. Is there like a reason for that, or is it just because like the market is more boring and there's so much going on?
Yeah. This year I think I posted charts maybe like 10 times, if even. I just don't see a reason to post about charts anymore. I kind of like keep my trading to myself, because honestly, like posting charts is a net negative. Like, if the trade goes well, you close it, you didn't post that you closed it, and then like somebody gets mad.
Yeah.
If you did post it, it didn't go well, it went down, people are gonna be mad. Oh, you're a fucking loser. Oh, I lost money because of you, and whatever. Like basically, I realized at some point that, okay, why am I trading those? Like, why am I posting those setups? Okay, let's be real. I want clout. I want the clout. I want to be like, oh yeah, look at this trade I just took and how much money I made, right? But Then I realized I don't want the cloud. I don't give a fuck
Mm-hmm.
about how many followers I have anymore. I don't care about, you know, if people think that I'm rich, that I'm poor, that I'm an idiot. you know, um, I just log in to Twitter every day to have fun with my friends, to shitpost, and sometimes people will DM me like, "Hey Delta, what do you think about Bitcoin right now?" And I'll share my charts with them, right? I'll send them some setups that I think this might happen. I think that might happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready for this. This is where I have my eyes on. But publicly, I just don't see a reason to actually bother in doing that, especially because now I feel like in the last year or two, all of CT really moved their trading things to group chats,
Yeah.
right? Like you really, like everyone has a group chat that they're active in every single day in, day out. So, it's kind of like generally a trend going on. And again, I don't sell any products. I don't have a paid group. I don't have a mentorship or whatever. So I don't have anything to prove to people.
Mm-hmm.
I'll sometimes share my ideas in text or some. The one thing I do still do is I'll post just trading psychology, something like how to deal with boredness, or I'll write some articles or something,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel like in reality is way more useful than long here with a stop here.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're at a good point to wrap it up. Do you have any final words of wisdom or anything you want to plug or shill or anything like that to end it off?
No, not really. Give me a follow at DeltaXBT if you want to see some banger memes. Use Insilico Terminal, obviously.
I
But
agree
no,
with all of those.
for real, just try to have fun, fuck around, find out what works, what doesn't, um, and just you'll find your place at the end of the day. I don't know.
I
Good luck
think
and
that's
have
good.
fun. It's the most
That's
important
good
thing.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming on. This has been fun.
Yeah. Thank
And
you, man. It's a pleasure.
yeah.
And thanks for the merch, dude. I got the merch. It's really sick.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I drank coffee this morning from the Insilico cup.
Nice. We're we're twinning. I'm also drinking from.
It's always funny because like I have a bunch of merch from different places, and then like this morning I was drinking this coffee and I was thinking about how weird it is that my online friends and stuff like that are starting to appear in my personal real life. It's very like there in some moments it's very surreal.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Yeah.